to make their lives perhaps more entertaining, perhaps easier in some way, whether it is an innovation of technology or whether it is a new way to see or to hear. And perhaps that is what a soul such as Helen Keller was. She appeared to display communication and its infinite possibilities and modes of expression and understanding, and to widen the understanding of personal interaction, language, without the ability to see, to speak, or to hear. Communication was done by feeling. It was through her hands and her beloved teacher, a teacher who had spent much of her time and certainly all of her soul to show the young Helen what water was, to feel the movement on the face, that the hands became the receptors, the interface between her and the world, what seemed to be the world, certainly. And why do we say what seemed to be the world? Well, the world is up to your own interpretation. For who knows what Helen Keller thought of the world? How did she see or hear that which she perceived as the world around her? She was not an uncivilized being, perhaps one of the most civilized beings that has ever graced this planet. She was an expression, and is, for she is not dead as a soul. You do not die ever. Your life, that is all of reality, your life, which is continuous, experiences something called death. But you do not die. The body experiences death. Your spirit, let us say your emotional beingness, has experienced death. Meaning that you have, in many phases of your life, had to go through a rebirth, where you must have had to rebirth yourself in order to live, and in order to rebirth yourself, there had to have been a death that you experienced. One may say that rebirth is also a sort of reinvention. Notice that in those moments, in the seasons of your life where you had to recalibrate, refresh, to be reborn, you then began to have to understand how to be new. It was an innate experience, meaning that this knowledge was within you. Though you were receiving knowledge from different sources, it was then moving through the system and the database of your knowledge, of all of the points of references within you about how to learn, how to become new. You had to call upon that within yourselves. And certain rebirths are more dramatic than others. Some are more subtle and take a longer period. For some, the rebirth feels that there is a period of stagnancy. Perhaps you have felt stuck, or you have felt that you have been sleeping, or perhaps you have simply felt that nothing is going your way. Well, we can assure you that everything is going your way and always shall. And that includes even your own death shall be for you and for everyone else around you. One may say that that is a matter of choice or perspective, that you even choose to see death in that way. But all of you who have experienced death in the physical kind of someone close to you, at some point in that experience, an acceptance had to happen. And a deepening of your spirit was your choice. For some people believe that the absence of God is proven when death is experienced. They say certainly there cannot be a God who allows such a thing. And for some, when they experience death, the opposite occurs. That a proof of God is felt and experienced. And you can see both perspectives and feel these perspectives. And so it brings us to understanding whether or not this energy, this force, this belief in what you use the word God for, is in all things, through all things, or not. Is death God? Is birth God? And everything in between. For some, the word God has been dragged through the mud by religion and certain traumatic experiences and limited beliefs from certain religions. And so it has tainted even the word God for you, perhaps even the word love. Or perhaps those words mean essentially the same thing. For one to reinvent oneself, one must then pay attention or discover what your God is. First, you would need a definition of God. And perhaps God is that force, or let us say that belief, that informs everything that you do and are experiencing. For example, if you are living mostly in fear, then fear has become your God. For some, being able to be reached is their God. To not be out of touch is their God. And we shall wait while you address the calling that is occurring. And we continue. Certain inventions perhaps could use some reinvention. As you are experiencing a new definition of God in this way, that which informs what your life experience is, if you are experiencing, let us say, you are preoccupied with something that is creating an unpleasant feeling within you, then that has become your God. You are at that church, you are singing those hymns of fear or worry or anger or bitterness or sadness or existential angst. For some will say, I am an atheist, I do not believe in God nor have a God. And to them we say, atheism is your God. For atheism is what you use to inform all that is around you. That is your explanation, that is your reason. And interestingly enough, if you get enough atheists together, they might resemble a church. They are gathering with a common belief, a common explanation for things. And so, it is in the nature of the being to have a God. It is in your nature to have a God. Whether that God is the God of music, the God of music can be just as the God of anything else, the God of art, the God of balance, the God of precision, the God of sweetness. All of these things. Where you are finding God, notice that the enlightened ones truly see God in all things. They are in that wonder. They are comfortable in their own skin. They are playful. They are not as worried as you are. And you may have your reasons as to why they are the way they are. You say, they are only this way because they have this and this and this. Well, perhaps they have made joyful success their God. And so they are in it. You say, but they have money as their God. There is nothing wrong with making money your God if you have wonderful, loving feelings in it. You see, it is an energy. Like any other tool, it can be used to build or destroy, such as a hammer. Even a piece of paper can be drawn upon or crumpled and thrown at someone. And so destruction is not the opposite of creation. Destruction is part of creation when the leaves begin to wither in the fall. Notice it is called the fall. It is not only referred to as autumn, it is referred to as the fall. What about the fall in your life? Notice that spring is referred to as spring, springing forth. And all of the qualities of nature are apparent in that word, that things are springing forth. In the fall, things are falling. Are they falling, or are they simply caught in mid-cycle of what is a glorious rebirth occurring? Your peace that you display within the seasons of your life is what is called your grace. And your falling is not a falling at all, is it? It is part of the birthing. It is part of the circle of life, if you wish to call it that. It is the recycling, it is the rebirthing, it is the recalibrating, it is the refreshing. Over and over again. Even your cells are supposedly dying and being reborn, aren't they, after a certain amount of time. And more you will discover that your consciousness affects the cells of your body. As you take this as a blessing rather than a curse, as you take this as a blessing rather than a curse, you shall experience wellness over. Your beautiful, vibrant cells are listening to you. And the more and more you practice this joyful surrender, you see, you are choosing beliefs. We are offering you a new position to choose new beliefs. You may take anything as your truth. If you were to choose any object as your God, then so you can learn all that you need to learn through this object. If you are sensitive, you will begin to see the qualities of God in this, and as well equally in this. Is there more God here or here? Do you not know that this is made of all things that come from this? There is not a component in this device that was not sourced from the same place as this. All materials are sourced from nature. All experiences are sourced from your nature. And so if it is your nature to be depressed or to be negative, then certainly you will see more depression and negativity in the world. If you decide to align with the principles of renewal and understanding as to why things are occurring, that all things are part of the process of evolution. Whether you enjoy the person sitting in your White House or you do not wish to enjoy the person sitting in your White House, there is this perspective that you can always understand that certain things are getting activated. And in your life, certain things are getting activated. If you resist them, they shall persist. If you allow them to flow through you and understand them, and do not worry that they shall not destroy anything that does not need to be destroyed. then you shall experience a kind of beingness that you only saw in others whom you thought were very special. And certainly they are, and certainly are you as well, but you must awaken to that. It is certainly not there or there, though going there or there can help you be here. And that perhaps is the point of vacations, isn't it? That you at times need to go there to return to center. And so you must have various experiences to understand more of yourself. That expression that no matter where you go, there you are, is far more profound than perhaps you understand. That travel is, outer travel leads to inner travel. And inner travel shall lead to outer travel. For the more you are going within, you shall then discover that all of your withinness has everything to do with how you are reacting to your withoutness, that which is around you. And if you then see that, you will discover that there is no difference between internal and external. You will discover that people have seen you the entire time. You will discover that the entire time the world indeed has been revolving around you, contrary to what the older folks had told you. That all of your reality, you feel that reality because of the way you are seeing everything. And what happens when a person has a near-death experience? They come back and everything is new. Apples taste sweeter. People seem more beautiful. And things that were upsetting seem to be trivial. Those are near-death experiences. They can happen physically and they can happen spiritually, emotionally. They are game changers, perspective shifters. They are your new eyes, or perhaps your third eye opening. And that is why you have come to this reality. You have come here to be utterly yourself. But you must change many, many times to discover whom it is that you are. And if you are not changing or trying new things, then you will become inflexible and stagnant. But the more you try to let yourself get past your blocks, the areas where you are protecting yourself, the areas where you feel this is how it should be, and because it is not that way, I'm miserable. Everything that is happening around you is for you to become more of who it is you are. And you need not fight it. You may surrender to it with grace, and energy shall radiate from you and into all that you touch and create. Bless you.